That's a funny story. It's funny every time you tell it. I guess that's why you keep telling that story, huh? Because it's so funny? Well, it's a funny story. Doesn't get funnier, but it's a funny story. You keep on telling that same story. And it's funny. It's a very funny story. And it's the same story you keep telling all the time. But I suppose that's why you keep telling it, because it's such a funny story, huh? Oh, hey man, that's a funny story. Yes. It doesn't get any funnier when you're telling it, but it's still a funny story, and I would say you should get on telling it all the time, because it's a funny story, man. Doesn't get any funnier. No, it's funny. So I said to him, "That's a damn funny story. You know, every time you tell that story, and I've heard you tell it many times, it's still a funny story. I suppose that's why you keep telling it, because it is such a funny story. Isn't it?" You know, that is a funny story. You keep telling it, and it is the same story, but it's still funny. And I suppose this is why you keep telling it, because it's such a funny story. Isn't it? Yeah? Funny story? Yeah, it's a funny story. I heard it lots of times from you, mind, and it don't get any funnier. But it's a funny story, yeah. It's a funny story. It needs to be told now and then. Now and then. It's a funny story, yeah. All right, enough. It's a funny story. And it needs to be told now and then. Aye, but it needs to be told in a funny way. And I don't know whether you always tell the story in the funniest way that's possible. But it's a funny story, and it needs to be told. Aye. I don't know if it's a funny story. I think if it's a funny story, then okay, you tell it. But I don't know. I don't know anymore whether it's a funny story. No. I'm not. No, I don't know. No.